let me tell you a little story. I'm not going to do my normal vlog this week. I haven't actually been anywhere because I had a little bit of an accident. What actually happened was I was driving along and, oh, hang on a second. I'm a little bit hairy. I really should shave. So through the magic of TV, okay, that's a little bit better. I'm here with my beautiful wife. Hey, honey. And we're relaxing. Today is Sunday the 6th of September, and on the 2nd of September, on Wednesday, I woke up, everything was normal, went down, did a little bit of work in my office, and around about 10 o'clock I was uploading some videos for my class, and I decided to go down to the gym. Now, a really important point here was that Emma was supposed to come along with me, as she usually does. She comes to the gym most days that I go along, but this morning she decided not to. So I'm driving along, and as is normal, just going along the streets through Alona, I got to a particular section, a straight stretch of road, and was doing maybe 30 kilometers an hour. Now I've glanced up and I saw this young girl coming towards me. Now you got to think, this all happened in a split second, all right? I'm watching the road, I've looked across, here's this girl coming towards me. And the reason why I looked at her is I noticed that she started to wobble with the handlebars. The handlebars were going like this. And I've looked at her, and in my head I've gone, oh, shit. And I've tried to pull the bike sideways to avoid her, because as she's wobbled, she started to move across the line. And now she was about 2 car lengths ahead. I'm doing 30 Ks an hour. I kind of do the maths. This all happened in half a second. So as I've pulled, I actually had the thought in my head that I'd got past her. I actually had that in my head, and then wham! She smashed into the back of the bike, roughly where Emma's leg would have been on the bike. And she's knocked me off the bike. I've gone sailing through the air, rolled over onto my shoulder, and I've landed kind of legs up in the air on my shoulder, and I bounced. I didn't quite do a good, commando roll. I kind of bounced on my shoulder and landed on my shoulder again. In my head, I'm going, that's going to hurt later, because I could feel that it's just taken the skin off. I could also, the sound of my helmet hitting the ground was really loud. It was just this banging sort of scraping sound twice again, because I did bounce. And I've rolled off the side of the road. My bike's landed past me, which was really lucky. It could hit me as well. And one thought that went through my head, which is kind of funny, was I'd just passed an ambulance, so they're going to be there quick. Peng Lao has got a brand new ambulance. It's a large, is it a Ford Transit or is it a Hyundai?
Big Ford or something.
I think it's a big Ford Transit van, and it's brand new. We've only had it here for a few months, and they were parked across the road, which is extraordinarily lucky. So I've landed on my back after bouncing a couple of times. I've stood straight up, which is probably silly, but I felt okay. And I could feel this massive pain in my shoulder, in this shoulder here. You can see the bandages now. And I've stood up and I've just roared. I made this noise. It wasn't swearing. It wasn't anything. I just roared because I could feel the pain, and I was pissed off and really upset about what had happened to me. And I've stood up, and I've taken my helmet off, and I've thrown it on the ground, and I've roared again. And then the next thing I know, this young girl, the girl that had hit me, the girl I'd locked eyes with for a split second before she hit me, before I turned and she hit me, was standing there in front of me, and she's apologizing. I'm sorry, sir. I'm sorry, sir. This girl had hit the ground face first without a helmet on. Guys, wear a helmet, please. Hit the ground face first without a helmet. She snapped her front 4 teeth, and she was just bleeding from cuts to her mouth and her lips and her chin. And it was basically like, I don't know, it looked like Walking Dead. She looked like a zombie. There was just blood all down her face. And I'm looking at her, knowing that her head's hit the ground, and I'm telling her, please, man, please just sit down. Don't worry about me. I'm okay. Then I said a few choice swear words to myself, because the pain was starting to come on. The adrenaline's wearing off. I'm still in shock. I could feel my shoulder starting to swell. Now, have a look at this. This is the helmet. Guys, you guys out there that don't want to wear helmets, I wear helmets pretty much every time I get on. I can guarantee now I'm going to wear a helmet every time. Pretty much every time I get on the bike, I wear a helmet. I got to tell you that you can see the damage to the helmet where it is. That could be on the side of my head just here, right, where it's hit the ground. Maybe this side actually, sorry. This side, but it would be scraped through. Now here's a picture of my shoulder. You can see where it's scraped through to the white on my shoulder. It's quite a bad scrape on my shoulder. It would have been worse on my helmet because I landed on my shoulder and my head. So guys, just wear a helmet. Don't be stupid. Just do it. I mean, you're not being macho or anything. You're just going to hurt yourself if you don't. It's crazy. Look, that's my little rant over. But please, wear a helmet every time you get on the bike, and wear a full face helmet. This girl had been riding. We find this out later, by the way. She'd been riding for a week. She was unlicensed, unregistered. Basically, she had no helmet as well. So, stupid. Yeah, it is a stupid thing that she did. Now, the ambulance was there. They were hugely professional, and I thank them very much. I will flag them down sometime in the future, and I will say to them, and thank them very much, because they did a really good job. They helped me out amazingly. They looked after me there at the time, and I remember looking up, and my friend Michael and my friend Bob from the gym was there, and Bob was hilarious because he's looked at me, "Were you going to the gym?" And I'm like, "Yeah, mate." And he's, the look on his face was kind of he was a bit sad, but it's okay. People were good. They were coming around, and they were helped out very big. Lots of video cameras up, of course. People had their phones up and they had their camera up, which is kind of interesting, but it's what happens. Anyway, I remember thinking I've got to call Emma, and I walked over to the bike at this stage, and I opened the seat up. I knew it was going to hurt. I kind of gritted my teeth and opened the seat to get my phone out. I picked my phone up. My hand was badly bruised and bleeding. Show you a picture of that as well. Because I think when I've rolled, I've put my hand like this on my helmet to protect my head, clearly forgetting my helmet was there, but I've put that, and I've actually landed full on my hand. You can see still got some bits and pieces coming off it. So I got the phone, and I called Emma. I tried to send her a message first, but she didn't reply, so I called her, and I've just gone, "Honey, I've been in an accident. Don't be angry. Please come and get me." And I said that I'm just past BDO. You'll see me. And I remember just hanging up. And this is all in a bit of a haze. I was a bit shocked and a bit scared. Anyway, long story short, the ambulance guys took me to Ace Hospital. Now, these guys were nothing but professional. Everyone that we dealt with there was amazing. They looked after us. They made sure we were okay. They put a drip in. I stayed there for 2 nights, and I had to have an operation. I had 2 X-rays. I had some painkillers. I had because I had to have surgery. The cardiologist came down, and they put an EKG on me, and then they did a ultrasound on my heart to make sure it was okay. Interesting story. I spoke to the girl that did the ultrasound. Looked like she was about 15, and I asked her, "How long have you been doing this?" And she goes, 3 months training. But she seemed very professional, and she did the job well, and she talked to me the whole way through. She was kind of interested. So she does watch this vlog. Hello, ma'am. Thank you for looking after me. So everyone was really professional, and a lot of people sort of question what the Filipino, the Filipino medical system is like. And I've got to tell you that some of the hospitals are not good. They're public hospitals. They've got a lot of people coming through. COVID's not helping. Ace Medical Hospital they were nothing but professional from the beginning, and they really looked after me. Now, basically, the doctor came down, told me that I'd snapped my bone in my collarbone. If you can imagine a chicken leg broken into 4 pieces, that's pretty much what the bone looked like in my shoulder. I did briefly see the X-ray. I'm sorry I don't have that X-ray. And the doctor said that they had to fly a piece that was going to be a prosthetic to hold the bone together. They had to fly it down from Manila, and it wouldn't arrive till the next day. So I stayed in a very nice hotel room, which was about 1,800 pesos for the night. They fed me. They had plenty of nurses there, but I've got to tell you, my nurse over here, she was amazing, right? She was amazing. She looked after me the whole time. She fed me. I've got to admit, the first night and the second night, I was quite weak, so I couldn't really do much. My shoulder was swelling. I couldn't lift my arms very much, and I really couldn't move around too much. So Emma helped me. Emma, in her previous life, was an aged care professional, so it was something she was used to. So the next day for the surgery, the cardiologist prepared me and told me that I was okay to go through. They did a skin test for the anesthetic that they were using to make sure I wasn't allergic to it. So they went through all of these processes. They ticked a lot of boxes to make sure I was okay. I briefly saw the doctor, who told me that the surgery would be ready for 1 p.m. the next day. I've got to tell you, I was pretty anxious. The only surgery I've really had has been to have some teeth removed. So I'd only been under anesthetic one time before, and that was to have the wisdom teeth removed. Now, basically, the doctor came in and told me that it was going to happen the next day at 1 o'clock. And I remember them taking me down. It's like in the movies where where they always show the patient looking up and the lights are going past and everything's going past, and the guy's talking to you over the top. Oh, you'll be okay, sir. You'll be okay. And, all the orderlies were really friendly and really nice and asking me if I'm okay and making sure. All through this process, the girl that had been in the accident, she was in a room two doors up, and they kept coming back and making sure I was fine and looking after me. And, for the problem is with them, their hospital bill was around about the 20,000 peso mark. Now, the problem is they don't have any money. Let's be honest here, guys. When they closed everything down due to COVID, the industries here all stopped. It's not that they slowed down, they stopped. So there's a lot of people that don't have any money. Yes, I should be upset with this girl, but I'm not really, because it was an accident. She clearly needed a little bit more time on the bike. She wasn't prepared for the wobbling of the bike, the strength needed to hold the handlebars. And we found out later that she took a hand off the handlebar to adjust the mirror, and then she's lost control. I should be really upset, but I'm just happy that nobody else got hurt. I'm in a little bit of pain, and I was in a little bit of pain, but I'm fine. So I'm not really going to go after this poor girl to pay my bill as well in one go, because she simply can't do it. All right, so they took me down to this surgery, and I met the anaesthetist, and he was great. He was just chatting to me. Oh, look, mate, everything's going to be fine. Had a bit of a chat with him. He learned a little bit about me, and I learned a bit about him, and he was very friendly. He did tell me the dangers. He did tell me that there was a very small percentage of people that didn't come out, and explained everything to me. But, he said it's very rare and I shouldn't worry, and I'm in good hands. And I was. All right, so I'm talking to the anaesthetist, and next thing I know, I wake up with the nurse just shaking my shoulder going, sir, it's time to wake up now. And I've got to be honest, that's the only time I really felt the pain. It was unbearable. I was hyperventilating. I was yelling, and I was telling her it was unbearable. And she gave me 2 extra shots. She gave me painkillers, and it knocked me out for another hour. So I was actually down there in recovery for another hour. And when she woke me up, it was fine. After that, everything was plain sailing. And I was actually going to stay. I stayed that night as well after that. And I was going to stay one extra night, but the doctor just discharged me. He came in around about 4 o'clock on what day was that by then, honey? Friday. So he came in on Friday afternoon around about 4 o'clock and said he'd already written the discharge papers, and I just didn't need to be there anymore. I was fine. Everything was good. My blood pressure, everything was fine. And then we got the bill. So you might be curious about how much things cost here in Philippines if you don't have travel insurance, and the way the costing work here. For the small part to come from Manila that they put inside my chest to fix my collarbone, that was 80,000 pesos. And it had to be paid pretty much on the spot straight away. 80,000 pesos is probably a little over $2,000, about 2,200. The part that came from Manila that was, brought down by a courier from Manila was 80,000 pesos. So that was a start. Okay, so it's over $2,000. It's a part that's actually holding the pieces together. The doctor and the rest of the surgery and the anesthetologist and me staying there cost around about another 160,000 pesos. So we're looking at a little over 240,000 pesos for the whole trip to the doctors, and all of the work that they did on me. Now, let's be honest, it's fairly expensive. Could be worse if I was in Australia. Maybe that might have been a little bit more expensive than that. I'm just glad that I'm back at home and I'm feeling good about everything. We haven't even touched on how much it's going to cost to fix my bike yet, but there's probably another 30 or 40,000 pesos involved in fixing the bike. To give you an idea, the cost of the cost of the hospital and my surgery, it's more expensive than buying 2 of my Yamaha NMAXs. So, you get the idea that it was quite expensive to do that. Now, just as an aside to this, I feel that, this sort of pricing is way out of the league of most people from the Philippines. So as this girl did, she needed to have all of the teeth out. She needed to have surgery on all of this. She had one tooth that was pushed up into her nerves. And, she couldn't afford. It's as simple as that. So as most Filipinos with no money will do, she left the hospital after having the very minimal surgery that she did have. Now, here's the way things work in Philippines. Our bikes are currently in jail. They're at the police station. The person that's responsible generally goes to jail till that we can work out a deal with the police and with that person on payment of medical and the bike bills and all that sort of thing. So generally speaking, that's how that works. At the time, I wasn't thinking about police or anything like that, and they weren't called, and so all of the reports were put in afterwards. That's just the way things go. Now, the police won't release our bikes until an agreement is put into place. Again, let's be honest here. I can't chase this girl for this huge amount of money. We will put an agreement in place. We will ask her to pay, but it's so difficult at this time for anybody to come up with the amount of money that we've just paid out. Now, this girl makes barely $10 a day as it is. How is she going to pay nearly $10,000 worth of medical expenses and the expenses for the bike? How's she going to do that? It's just not going to happen. And me putting her in jail, that's not going to help her. It's not going to help me. She's 23 years old. She's had her 4 front teeth ripped out. I mean, I think that's kind of penalty enough. Will she learn from it? I don't know. But I don't think putting her in jail is going to help her life in any way, shape or form. So I know I'm going to get a lot of foreigners saying that I should sue her, but sue her for what? It's just not going to help things. I'm okay. My family's okay. I've got a little bit of rehabilitation and recovery to go through. But you know what, guys? I'm okay. And that's the main thing. Okay, so this was purely an accident. This was not somebody looking on their phone. This is not some idiot foreigner driving too fast. This was just a pure accident. Yeah, it probably could have been avoided, but, I did try to avoid it. But guys, please, I'm okay. I'm up, I'm happy, I'm fine. Okay, since doing this video this morning, and I was sitting here doing some editing, and the girl's sister, the girl that hit me, her sister has come down and, wanted to see that I was okay and make sure that I was fine. She is clearly terrified at the sum of money that has been paid. And she's very, very worried about, being able to pay it and all the medical expenses and things. Now, the girl herself, she's going to have surgery tomorrow at the dentist because it was cheaper than the doctor. And after that, they're going to come down and see us at some stage to make sure I'm all right and talk about what needs to be done. I spoke to her. I tried to assure her that, we'll worry about things when COVID goes away and tourism gets better. I even offered for her to come and work for us for free for certain days a week and things like that. So there are opportunities out there instead of sending her to jail, because jail for her would just ruin her life. It would mean that she couldn't travel overseas, and it would also mean that she had a record for lifetime, which would make it very hard for her to get a job. I'm fine. I'm happy and I'm fine, and I hope this girl comes through this and learns something from it. I told her sister to make sure that she doesn't just run away, because then I would go to the police and I would make sure that they found her. Other than that, the sister, like I said, she looked terrified, didn't she, honey? She looked absolutely terrified. She's so stressed, isn't she? And she looked really, really scared. I tried to assure her, and we're just making sure that she's all right. I'm good, guys.